foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kakdash, the elders and the apostles of Big Millstone. Salute to you, our camp pushing this words in sincerity and truth. You know, your brother, I sat back at you with another one. Oh, well, I haven't gotten back my device as yet. You know, my phone was literally mashed up, sent it to fix, you know. But hey, the works had to keep going on, right? Yeah, as we continue to keep in the spirit of prophecy, going into what's happening, you know, in the news and what's happening around the world, and cross-referencing the scriptures, you know, being able to understand the times that we actually living in, and you know, being able to see the measuring stick, which is the prophecies, you know, coming to pass gradually, right? Because the scripture talk of many different events and whatnot. So as they see here, it says Ukrainian military officers attempt to take a man away from military service as Ukraine faces a growing shortage of soldiers. A heartbreaking video allegedly showing a Ukrainian woman crying and refusing to let go of her partner as he is taken away from military service in the war against Russia has surfaced online. Right, and we understand how the scripture go into, and the fair virgin shall more having no bridegrooms, and these say because this year is the reason why, you know, because a lot of you men is gonna be taken for war. So this is just the beginning. The World War III hasn't started yet. These is just as the scriptures say, and ye shall hear of rumors of wars and wars. See that ye be not troubled, because the end is not yet. Right? So the World War III hasn't begun yet. And as they see this year now, soon, this is gonna come heavily to even Babylon the Great, to America. Right? That they're gonna have no choice but to bring in the civilians into the war. They're not gonna have no choice but to bring in their civilians in, you know, to go to fight. Alright, so let's go into the scriptures. Alright, because this is it. The scriptures speak down to the ear of my people. The words are prophecy. Right? Yeah. Speak down to the ear of my people the words of prophecy. 2 Isaiah 16 and verses 33. Right? The virgin shall mourn. You know, so hey, the woman, you know, just as how this woman, she don't want to let go of a partner, you know, a husband, you know, because she know there's a high possibility going into war, surely not to return. Having no bridegrooms, the woman shall mourn. Having no husbands, their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Because soon with wars and men gonna be scarce, because a lot of them gonna be deleted in the wars. So there's gonna be hundreds of women, well, thousands, hundreds of thousands of women that would be what? That would be left alone, you know. And it's to show you just how the precepts, the scriptures basically backs up each other. Because we know, we hear, we know according to the precept, 7 women gonna take hold of 1 man, right? It is because, men gonna be scarce soon, especially when the heated wars start, and as it says, shortage of soldiers. They're gonna start recruiting, they're gonna start drafting, right? let's go into to that word drafting. Like you go into the meaning and having to draft people. Right. Right. Drafting for the military. It says, right, in military context, drafting or conscription means the government legally requires eligible citizens to join the armed forces. Instead of relying only on people who volunteer, a country uses draft to quick grow its military during a major war or national emergency. So it say government often keep a list of eligible citizens, such as young men turning 18, so they are ready if a draft is ever needed. So this is not no volunteer or you picking and choosing whether you wanna go or not. It says what? Instead of relying on people who volunteer, a country uses a draft to quickly grow its military during a major war or national emergency. A draft is only turned on if the president and lawmakers pass special laws during a crisis. If activated, people are usually chosen through a random lottery system based on birth dates. So wait, any year you could be chosen. Young men after the age of 18 and whatnot, according to how dire the situation may be. Right? Yeah. Hey, what's it? It mentions America key facts. Most modern militaries, including the United States, use all volunteer force and have not actively drafted anyone in decades. But this is it. That soon Babylon is gonna reach down to that position because you see, Babylon can't even send aid to Ukraine with soldiers. Because they already tied up in a war against Iran and whatnot. And we understand that they have alliance. They have an alliance and whatnot with Ukraine and these things. But you can see Babylon being run thin. That little war, as the scripture say, the Lord lay a snare, a trap for Babylon, which is Ukraine, which is Iran, which Slovakia, Iran being a trap set for Babylon, and hey, Babylon being exposed, so just imagine a country like Iran, it's all prophecy, because the Joel chapter 3 mentions it, right? The weak nations saying they are strong, right? The Isaiah 14, Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. That is what is happening, war being prepared. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war journey, and let them come up. So that is the vibration that the Lord is drifting the kings of the earth, the prime minister, the presidents and whatnot into. Proverbs 21 and 1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Right? 21 and 1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So the king's mind, as the rivers of water, he turns it whatsoever he will. So that is the vibration and and the direction he's sending them, because the Lord so wait upon him till he rise up to the prey, because his determination is to gather all the nations. And that's what he doing. He's setting up that war amongst the nations. Beat your plowshare into swords, as meaning invest your money into nuclear weapons, jets, all different arsenals for war. Pruning hooks, spears, let the weak say I'm strong, and this is what happening. Imagine Iran, which is a trap, being set for Babylon, to exposing Babylon, because right now, within the war is like Babylon no making no breakthrough. Isaiah 14 and 11. Let's start at verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, and this is what is going on. It's being pointed out like, hey, Babylon ain't all that tough anymore. America isn't tough anymore. Thou become weak as we, because of Iran giving them all that pressure. Because we have heard the proud speeches that Trump, he could get this war over in X amount of days, and he even started throwing tantrum, open the FN Strait and all these things. It's to show you basically they're being exposed, they're being laid naked. Let's say, thou also become weak as we, as meaning no more you're on a higher level. Right now, two are we on the drawing board, and we on the same level, because Babylon's still more powerful, but it is to show you that a country as Iran having them on the P's and Q's, right? And you hear them, that they're gonna look to bring that war even to the shores of America, right? Let's say, thou become weak like unto us, thy pomp is brought down to the grave. So all that, having the best military in the world and all these different things, they're already exposed. A little Iran showing you up. For one more for North Korea, and China and Russia and these bigger nations, right? Let's say, and the noise of thy voice, the worm is spread under thee, and we understand how worms operate. They eat you from the inside out. So right now, Babylon the Great is this big monstrous shell, but the inside there's nothing on the inside. Basically, it's all talk and no bite. Right? Let's say, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Right? Because soon she gonna be decayed. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? No? Which going into the light bearers, the rulers of the earth, because Babylon the Great, America, being the capital city, it's gonna fall, and they're gonna be taken down together with the fall of Babylon. So these powerful men, how now they're gonna be, turned to nothing, fall from rulership when Yahushua comes and take them off the throne. I ain't gonna stray too much, going back on second is just Isaiah chapter chapter 4 and 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, because through the wars many men gonna be deleted. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Now, man of the Lord gonna be precious in that time. You know? A lot of you guys gonna be drafted out, you know, destroyed in the wars. You know? I appreciate. And verses 34, 16 and 34. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish in famine. Right? So that is what's gonna happen. Right? Yeah, so hey, a lot of hell coming. A new woman gonna be helpless. Right? A lot of you women gonna be scared, especially all you that prideful and you don't need a man and all of these things. And even you all with men, your men gonna be taken away from you. Right? That's why the scriptures mention, and a man gonna be more precious. Yes. Isaiah 13 and 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold. Because if only, a lot of the men being deleted and whatnot. And, there would be the elect that will be upkept, by the mercy and grace of Yahweh Bashem Yeshai. That they would be defended in that time. So a lot of you women gonna have no choice but to gravitate to the men of the Lord, as he being taken care of in these perilous times. Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir is to show you how precious, and it's going to be a scarce thing too. The scripture said that a man gonna be a hiding place. And again, this is not just your average YN or the average Jake, but it could be a man of the Lord. That this is speaking of. Isaiah 32 and 2, and a man shall be hiding place from the wind and covered from the tempest. Going into a defense, protection as rivers of water in a dry place. So think about it. The whole desert, and you're walking for days and you meet a stream, a little river stream. That is like heaven. As a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. It's to show you how of a scarce thing, precious thing it would be. And the eyes of them that she shall see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that shall hear shall hearken. So this is about to happen, right? Just as the prophecy said. When you jump down to verse 9, it says, rise up, you women that at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughter, give you ear unto my speech. Because when these things happen, a lot of you women gonna be in a real messed up position. Many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless woman, for the vintage shall fail. Especially when these heavy war kicks off, SOE, Jacob's trouble, all these things coming in a great clashing. When the system crashes, you are going to be unprotected. It says strip you and make you bare. Tremble the woman at that ease. You know that vintage, you know, no more, you ain't gonna have no police and all of these things. The place gonna be butt wild. You're not gonna have enough law enforcers to quell what is coming into the city, the scriptures or what. And they're not gonna regard the kings or the princes no more. They're going to have sedition among men and neighbor having no pity for it. That is the time is coming. Alright? It say, and make you bear and good sackcloth upon your loins. He has meaning mourning because hardship. So who feels less was that the final praise all honor and glory be long unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Shem Kadash, double honor unto the elders and the apostles of the millstone. The next salute.